Hey familia, Igni here. A bunch of new cards with Starforged Legends have been revealed, so let's get right into it. The first one here, Wild Golem, 5.23, gold runecraft card. At the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to a random enemy follower. I should say enemy here, I think. X times, maximum 10 times, X equals the follower's attack. Earthright, gain +1/+2, and evolves to a 3/4, so it gains only a +1/+1 stat change. But with that Earthright, it can end up becoming a 4/6 for 5 on the evolve turn. And it does 4 damage to random enemy followers, and you also get a 4/6 body. It seems okay. I've seen some people saying that this card isn't all that good. I think it's better than it looks, because honestly I think Earthright Rune is just on the cusp of being tier 1. I think it's very good, and giving them more tools I'm a bit wary of it. So this card might see play, I think, even though a lot of people think otherwise. Gigas, 7.75, neutral silver, flash. Until the end of the opponent's turn, this follower cannot receive more than 3 damage at a time. Super heavy and constructed, probably won't see play, but it's a good arena card because it can often trade 3 for 1. Aegina, Havencraft, silver, 3.32, fanfare, subtract 3 from all damage dealt to your leader until this follower leaves the area. As a 3.32, it's okay, but it can be pretty easily removed by a lot of damage spells, and the fact that the effect only lasts until this follower leaves the area means that it's very easy to kill it off with a ping, and then you can go face. And the fact that it doesn't protect your board, it only protects your leader, I don't think this card is going to be very good, because it can be easily removed, and it doesn't have that much impact in terms of the effect. And there's lots of better options on 3. Europa, runecraft gold, 3.14, enhance 5, evolve this follower, and when it evolves, it doesn't increase the stats, but it gains Zeus's effect, Storm, Bane, and Ward, which I think is really cool lore-wise. The card in a vacuum doesn't seem all that bad, but it doesn't seem all that impactful either, especially in Rune, where it doesn't really have a place it fits, where in Rune is mostly focused on, you know, either Earthright synergy or Spell Boost synergy, or neutral synergy, and this doesn't really fit in any of them, so I don't really imagine this seeing play. Especially since with no stat increase on the enhance, it usually just will 1 for 1 with that Storm and Bane, so I'm not really sold on it. Dragonrearer Matilda, 2.11 bronze for Dragoncraft. Fanfare, put a Fire Lizard into your hand. I like Fire Lizard, and I think the effect is good, and it works with Prime Dragon Keeper. It's just that the stat line is really weak, and it doesn't really seem that impactful on board, especially on turn 2. Like a 1/1 just doesn't match up to a lot of the other drops that you can play on turn 2. It does generate more resources for you in Aggro Dragon, which is really good, because you want to have more followers put on board, because board is where Aggro Dragon lives. And you don't want to run out of fuel as Aggro Dragon either, because that's how you lose a lot of the time. So this does fill that role. The stat line feels a bit too weak for it to be impactful. Sora, martial artist for Shadowcraft, 3.23 vanilla, but when you evolve, it deals 1 damage to 2 random enemy followers. You have to spend an evolve point just to have this sort of mediocre ping effect, and if you don't save your evolves, you just end up with a 2/3 vanilla. I don't think this is going to see play. Fanged Serpent, 3.32 bronze, bloodcraft. Ward, last words, restore 2 defense to your leader. I think this card is actually not bad, because Blood uses a lot of cards that end up taking from your life total. It's just that I don't know how it stacks up against Disagreeable Demon, because Disagreeable Demon has a better stat line defensively with a higher health total, and that can often be considered healing anyway, because it's preventing damage going through, especially against, you know, 2/2s. So it seems alright, but I'm not too amazed. Loki, 8.55 neutral legendary fanfare. The next time you play an allied follower with a fanfare, necromancy, enhance, or earthright ability excluding targeted effects, activate that ability 1 more time. This effect is not stackable. The effect is cool. Hey, Zernicho can summon another dragon, so that's interesting too. It's just that it doesn't really feel that powerful for the cost, especially with a mediocre stat line like this. And the fact that it excludes targeted effects makes it much weaker. If it included targeted effects, this card might actually be super good. But that means stuff like Hector isn't repeatable, stuff like Emeralda isn't repeatable, so it ends up being very limited in what you can do with this card. Something that Envy brought up is that you can play turn 8 Loki, turn 9 Windmill Hamza, and then the Hamza procs twice, and then you can go for face, and that's super fun. And it also curves out well. It's a high-cost follower, so it probably fits best in Dragon, who can ramp up to this effect, and not feel as bad about spending this much for an effect at this stat line. Outside of Dragon, I see it seeing basically no play. Starry Elf, 3.22 bronze for Forest. Fanfare, put a random amulet from your deck into your hand. This is actually okay. It can help you fetch your PTPs. If you're playing a more wacky forest deck, it can help you as a tutor for your, you know, lesser used amulets like Woodland Band or something. I think this card is actually fine. King of the Horned Crown, Swordcraft Commander, 8.77 bronze. Fanfare, deal 1 damage to all enemy followers. Whenever this follower attacks, deal 1 damage to all enemy followers. So it's kind of like Lucius, but just for way more. This is not good. Magic Gun Hunter, Runecraft, 3.22. Fanfare, if there are no other allied followers in play, gain Rush, and last words, put a Magic Gun Hunter into your hand until the end of the turn. The until the end of the turn clause makes this card a lot worse, because if you play this on 3 to respond to an enemy board, you're not going to have that other resource in your hand. It's going to disappear at the end of the turn. And on 6, do you really want to be playing a Magic Gun Hunter just to trade it in and then play another Magic Gun Hunter to trade it in and then have that Magic Gun Hunter that you have disappear at the end? And that means that you also don't have anything on board. And also, it's a Runecraft card that doesn't synergize with anything. This doesn't seem like it fits anywhere at the moment. So far, we've seen a lot of Runecraft cards that don't really fit in anything that Runecraft has right now. So I'm curious to see if there's anything else that's going to synergize with this stuff. Qilin, neutral gold, 5.05, ward. At the end of your turn, gain +2/+0 whenever this follower attacks an enemy follower. Deal X damage to the follower before it can deal any damage in return. X equals this follower's attack. So it doesn't have Clash, so it's only when it attacks, otherwise it would just be absolutely busted. It's a 5.25 with ward, which is okay. It's a neutral, so it curves out of Alice as well, which is even better. If you evolve it, it becomes a 2/7, which buffs itself to a 4/7 at the end, but when you attack with it, it's a 4/7 anyway, because it does 4 damage in total to that follower. This card seems actually quite powerful. If you're curving out of Alice and you get a 3/8 on evolve, that does 3 damage first, and then 3 damage again, so it does 6 damage, and you end up with a big ward that's still alive because the health total is really hefty. Without the evolve, it's a lot less impactful because you can't get the attack in first, but if you can use an evolve on this, this can end up being a trading machine, and taking no damage in retaliation against smaller followers as well. This also seems especially good in Arena. Cuhullin, 2.21, Swordcraft Officer with Rush. Enhance 6, gain Bane until the end of the turn. This follower can't be damaged until the end of the turn. So it's essentially a 6.21 single target removal, or a 2.21 with Rush. As a 2.21 with Rush, it can take down a 2/2 early game, and that can stall an aggressive deck longer. So I think that's actually not too bad. You're going 1 for 1, but you also disrupt their game plan a bit. And on 6, you get a 2/1 body and a single target hard removal, which is actually not that bad. Whether or not Sword needs single target removals rather than AoE is up for debate. Astrologist of the Mists, Runecraft 6.56. Fanfare, if another allied follower is in play, use Earthright, give +1/+1, and ward to an allied follower. I think this card would be really good if it wasn't on the 6th slot. The 6th slot for Earth Rune is so heavy already with Levi, Calamitous Curse, even Mutagenic Bolt in some builds, Taboos. I don't think this is going to be run over those things. Scaled Berserker, Dragoncraft Bronze, 4/5 with Bane. Pretty vanilla minion. Won't see play probably. Arena card. Aldos, Imperial Dragoon. This is the alt art for Imperial Dragoon. I don't think you need me to give a card review on Imperial Dragoon. But yeah, the alt art is super cool. Oh, I want it. Temple Ogre, 5.43, silver for Haven. When 2 damage or less is dealt to this follower, reduce that damage to 0. Whenever this follower attacks, gain +0/+1. And on Evolve, it can attack 2 times per turn, but it doesn't gain any stats. I think this card is actually quite good. It can attack twice per turn on the Evolve. It gains attack. It reduces damage dealt to it, so if you're dealing with a wider board, and a lot of the boards we're seeing are quite wide now, and especially in Arena, it's going to be insane too. Elfsinger Harmony, Forestcraft, 2.32 silver. Fanfare, followers can't be played from your hand until his follower leaves the area. So they're trying to push Aggro Forest. It's just that it's easily tradable and easily removable, but if it gets removed, the drawback also gets removed. So, actually, it kind of solves itself in a way. Also, the drawback only happens after you play it, so later on in the game you can play all your followers anyway, and then play Elfsinger's Harmony, and it'll work out too. The problem is that, would you rather run this, or would you rather run Liza to protect your other things on board, instead of having a 1 stat point advantage over a vanilla minion? Would you rather play this, or would you rather play Roach? Would you rather play this, or would you rather play Lily, which can help you deal late game with things, instead of just having a 3/2 for 2. And that's it. Those are the cards. Was I right? Was I wrong? Is there anything I missed? Let me know in the comments below. We'll turn the comments into a discussion area for these new cards. Like the video if you did. Don't if you didn't. Subscribe for more Shadowverse content and Starforged Legends hype in the very near future. And of course, thank you to my wonderful patrons, patreon.com/Ignideus. If you want to help support the channel as well, I would highly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.